Today promises to be exciting in many ways because it is in commemoration of the International Nurses Day 2024. And we have extraordinary guests here who will help share the stories, insights, and expertise on the remarkable contribution of nurses to the society and activities therein to celebrate the day. From discussing intricacies of planning the upcoming Nurses Day celebration to first-hand hearing from the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association about her professional journey and advocacy efforts, I must say, we have an array of engaging conversations in store for you. And the most exciting part for me is where you get to be part of the show. So sit back. It is Nurses Cafe. But I'm not sure most of you are going to drink cafe. You can grab your sobolos and whatever and sit back for an exciting show with myself, Kobe Blay, and the special guest from the Nurses and Midwives Association Planning Committee for the International Nurses Day celebration. Sit back. Thank you very much. So for today, I'm going to introduce, just like I was able to introduce myself, I'm going to introduce my special guest. And my special guest, they are so interesting. But before I come to them, let me take a message from the president of the Ghana Registered and Midwives Association in commemoration of the International Nurses Day. So I read, on this special day, nurses across the world are commemorating International Nurses Day. We take opportunity to celebrate our, we take this opportunity to celebrate our nurses for their hard work, dedication, and sacrifice exhibited across Ghana, from the CHIPS compounds to our teaching hospitals, to our nurse educators, preventive healthcare nurses, clinical care nurses, and our researchers. Your contribution to the Ghanaian economy cannot be overemphasized. It is therefore critical that as a nation we focus on the enormous potential that strategic investment in nursing can have in generating economic and social progress in Ghana and around the world, considering that 59% of the global health and care workforce are up to 70% of the Ghanaian healthcare workforce comprises of the nursing workforce and thus occupies a critical role in efforts to realize universal health coverage and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Message from Mrs. Perpetual Furiampofo, the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. And again, I welcome you to today's show of the Nurses Cafe. So my special guest and special appreciation to the media committee who are behind the machines and consoles, making sure that you are enjoying it wherever you are. So for anybody seeking to support, sponsor, or give us any tap in the back for this show, you will see some numbers crawling on the screen. You can join us. You can support us to make this always a viable show for you wherever you are. Now, my guests, two of them, seriously pronounced in their efforts, exciting in their delivery. Kenel and Charlo. For those who may not know them, they are going to introduce themselves. But my main mother, Kenel, is here. She takes the mic first. Kenel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm Kenel Vida Utu, retired.
Yeah.
A former director of nursing and midwifery service at the general headquarters, Grnma camp. A chairperson of the planning committee, International Nurses Day 2024.
Okay. It's a solid record. So that's Kenel. Kenel, today we'll talk plenty.
We'll talk.
My favorite, Charlo.
Okay, Kobe, thank you for having us. My name is Loretta Kate. I'm a nurse educator at the Nursing and Midwifery Training College, Kolebu, and I'm the secretary to the planning committee for this year's celebration. Thank you.
So, Cholo, it's interesting that you are part of the planning committee. At the same time, like, you're a nursing tutor. But most important, both of you are mothers. And so I'll take this opportunity to wish you happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As for Kenna, I've been traveling here, so it's very important I do that now.
Thank you. And we also want to, on behalf of Loretta and the
Yes.
planning committee, want to take advantage to wish our president and all female nurses happy Mother's Day. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so let's go straight to the reason why you guys have beautifully dressed to appear here. We have an International Nurses Day. How remarkable, how significant is the celebration of the day? How significant is the International Nurses Day? Kanel?
The International Nurses Day is a day that has been set aside on the 12th of May globally in memory of Florence Nightingale, who we've all come to know as the founder of modern nursing. And also, it's also set aside now to also acknowledge, appreciate, and reward the commitment and the hard work that nurses are providing to humanity all over the world. And Ghana being part of the global village, we also celebrate this same week.
All right. So the issue of Florence Nightingale have been debatable. People say, oh, we should also recognize someone who is here and had developed nursing from time immemorial. I mean, what do you tell, as a tutor, what do you tell your students about International Nurses Day? Because some will say, how significant is it for us professionals in our practice?
Okay, thank you for the question, Kobe. As a tutor, what I tell my students about the International Nurses Day is we have, it is set aside, like my mom said, on the 12th of May to celebrate the hard work and dedication of nurses. And again, it is a day that we celebrate for Florence Nightingale's birthday, that we use to celebrate Florence Nightingale's birthday. So it is a special day for all of us. And as a tutor, I try to encourage them and tell them that because she helped during the Crimean War, she helped in reducing mortality rates by helping with the cleaning of the environment of the hospital setup and all that. So as a tutor, that is what I tell them, that they should try as much as possible to learn from her as a mother of modern nursing, because she tried to reduce infection in general.
Okay, so kind of, you wanted to say
Maybe
something?
to add on to what she said, the question we will ask ourselves is, why Florence Nightingale and no other person?
Exactly.
So what made her separate, special, that today nurses can look forward to? And to me, is the impact her personal life, her contribution has made to our profession, not just our profession, but to humanity.
Exactly.
And I don't know whether we will go to her background as we go on, but there are lessons to be learned from this great icon for all nurses all over the world. She stood for a cause, fought for a cause, and won that cause. And I believe that with that same drive, we'll be able to get anywhere we want to get to as nurses. So maybe we'll delve into her background later. Thank you.
No, I don't mind. Would you want to just say something little about her? And if possible, do we have similar Florence Nightingales who have existed? Because I remember Dosia Kese, who the hall we are having this conversation has been named after her and all that. Do we have similar Florence Nightingales who champion the history of nursing in Ghana?
Thank you. For Florence Nightingale, there's a lady that was born in an era where nursing as a practice was frowned upon. That's the Victorian era. She was born into a royal family. She lacked nothing. And she decided to go into nursing because she saw it as her divine calling from God. It didn't sit well with the parents, but she went ahead and defiled everything. She was well trained. We should know she was trained in classical psychology. She was well educated, but she put all those things aside and insisted that she wanted to take up nursing as a profession. She even gave up on marrying.
Wow.
Yes. And she went into nursing. Now, when she went into nursing, she got herself trained. After training, she went to work in UK. And in 1853, the Crimean War broke out. And the mortality rate at the battlefield was so high that they wanted a group, like she said, to go and do something about it. She took up the challenge, plus 38 other nurses, and went to the battlefield. And when they went, indeed, it was an eyesore. And I want to say that it was reading about what took place. It was at the battlefield, like she said, that infection control was birth. She identified the sources of the high mortality, dealt with them, and within a few weeks, the mortality rate came down. And aside what she did, she also took her nursing. She saw that nursing is not just the physical touch or the medication, but the emotional aspect of the patient well-being is equally important. So at the battlefield, being a military nurse, I happen to have an experience, but it's not a place that you want to be, because the noise you hear is either gunshots or firing here and there. So at the hospital base, in the quiet hours of the night, when the night is so still and quiet, and that is when we all know that patients feel lonely. It's like, when would the morning come? So hope is something they cherish. This young lady decided, upon her own accord, to do night rounds. So night rounds in our profession started long time ago. And she went on her night rounds with her lonely companion, the lamp. She carried the lamp along.
What we call bobo.
Yes,
like the bobo.
Bobo. That's what she carried. And moving from one patient to the other, trying to encourage them, give them hope, and encourage them to hang in. Maybe tomorrow morning help is coming, you'll be evacuated back home, don't give up. So with time, all the soldiers started looking out for the lamp at a particular time during the night. And the lamp to them began to represent, it's like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Hope is coming, help is coming. And very soon they changed his name. They were not calling him Sister Florence, but the lady with the lamp.
Wow.
And some also called him the Crimean Angel.
Wow.
And going further, as time goes on, that little lamp became the emblem of nursing when she reformed nursing.
Wow, 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 wow. Guys, that's a lot of history there. And you would get to understand why the nurses there's a significant role that's going to be played when it comes to the lamp. Now, we talk about Florence Nightingale. Through the history of nursing in Ghana, were there any people who emulate the life of Florence Nightingale that you recall? You have been practicing for quite some time before you went to retirement. Do some people come to mind when you look back? Some people that you think have distinguished themselves in the capacity as Florence Nightingales?
I believe that nursing in Ghana has evolved over the period. And like you rightly mentioned, in the history of this association, where we sit now, Dr. Dosieki said,
exactly,
will easily come out as somebody who has stood for reforms in nursing in Ghana, like Florence did, and turned nursing around to be modernized.
Yeah.
When Florence Nightingale's time, there was no ethics, there was nothing. But she put training courses in place and she modernized nursing. This is the same vein Dr. Dosia, her name comes out. If during her period, she was talking about PhD in nursing, degree in nursing, in those years, I think, if my memory serves me right, she was the first woman chief nursing officer at the ministry.
Wow.
And she pushed for a lot of things. She also lectured in Legon. So I believe that even the setting up of the
University Nursing School,
the nurses school at Legon was part of her baby. In our era, we have a lot in the association. You have the Asante Crobiers coming as nurses.
Yes.
Auntie Alice.
Yes, Alice
Alote coming. Victoria Banga. I remember when we were in school, this Mrs. Corty, in the days of the Rollinses, they were on top. And now we have Mrs. Perpetua, Ufuriampofo, and these are all being driven, I believe, by the same passion and strength and commitment to see nursing to a point where we'll be satisfied and be able to work well. So these are people, names that come to mind.
I think
easily.
you forgot one name.
Who?
Colonel herself. You. and I must say that you have an incredible memory of the history of nursing practice, and hopefully we should have you come in or show that you would take over. Like, tell us the history. We'll give you the whole camera. Loretta, how are you enjoying what?
I'm really enjoying what she's saying. To add to what she said, nursing has come far.
Yeah.
We've moved from the colonial setting, and now we are in the modern setting.
Yeah.
And so, what I want to say today is, nursing has moved far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need to encourage ourselves and pat our backs as nurses and be happy.
Okay.
As we are celebrating this day, all of us should be happy that we are nurses and be proud of ourselves for the work that we do.
Talking about being happy, what is coming on Tuesday?
Okay. So Tuesday, God willing, we are going to give nurses and midwives across the country an honorable and a graceful event. We have Vice President of the Republic, who is our special guest of honor, gracing the occasion. We have Minister Designate, Dr. Bernardo Koboy, who is also the guest of honor for the event. We also have Dr. The DG, Director General, that is Dr. Patrick Kumar Boache,
Yes.
as a special guest. And then we have our keynote speaker, who is in the person of Professor Stella Pia, an associate professor from the university, Valley View University.
Yeah.
And then we have our host, which Mrs. Perpetua Foriampofo, and the chairperson, who is from the Salt and Light Ministry, that is Reverend Dr. Joyce Rosalind Aye.
Wow.
Yes, please.
Wow. That's a seriously packed event. I mean, from the little I know, what went into this kind of planning? What went into this full house packed? and how are you able to do it? Because to be able to bring all these dignitaries down is no mean feat. What went into it? What decision? What informed it?
I think first we want to thank the President of the Association and the National Executive Council for giving us the opportunity to plan this year's 2024. We are five, a team of five.
Okay.
And I would say that these are members who are committed, who are leaving nothing out but to have excellence at this meeting, celebration. We believe that the value we put on ourselves will also reflect out there. So we have put in a lot of effort.
Yes.
A lot. The movement, the connection, the calls, I don't want to say
Follow-up.
the follow-ups we've done.
Yeah.
But what we want to say is that we thank God for the success He has given us so far, and we want to thank everybody who, one way or the other, people have worked behind the scenes to be able to pull these dignitaries out of their comfort zone to come. And we want to say thank you to everybody who has helped. But there are challenges, but we believe that with God all things are possible. So we've been able to come this far because, one, we work as a team. Two, we are committed. Three, we are transparent to each other.
Good.
And that is how far the Lord has brought us.
I mean, I can't wait for this particular International Day celebration. And if you just joined, this is the exclusive edition in commemoration of the International Nurses Day, the exclusive edition of the Nurses Cafe in commemoration of the International Nurses Day. And I have with me, I just call her Kennel for short. And this is proper Kennel, and then Charlo. They are with us, taking us through, they are from the planning committee, taking us through what went into the planning and the organization of the International Nurses Day, what we are to expect, including a few things and history of the International Nurses Day. So do enjoy, share your comments in the comment sessions, your concerns, your questions, and share the link with a friend. Get them to come and watch us more. Yeah. So Cholo, a lot of work has gone in. Now, how are you making sure that our other groups, everybody is going to be involved when we come to the celebration? Because not everybody is going to be here that day. So how are we going to make sure that everybody has a bite of this big cake?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. We have engaged a media committee.
Okay.
And I believe that with the good works that they are doing, they are going to help us to publicize the program.
All right.
We have you having the Nurses Cafe with us.
Oh, great.
It's a way of also publicizing the program. We are going to have the program online.
Okay.
Facebook Live.
So it's going to be streamed live.
It's going to be streamed live.
Right.
So all those who are not able to be here on that day, we expect that they watch it live on that day. And we encourage all nurses and midwives to go on Facebook Live and watch the program on that day.
So, Colonel, you have been on this planning for God knows when. I think, for quite some time now. The history is on your laps about the organization of the International Nurses Day. What is different about this year's celebration?
Thank you. This year's celebration, the team itself.
Exactly.
The team itself. I think our nurses and midwives, our future.
Yeah.
The economic power of care. Somebody will be saying, what has nurses got to do with the economy?
Economy, yes.
Or economic power. And that's why we want to encourage all nurses to be part of this year's celebration.
Exactly.
Especially the official lunch and whatever will be taking place at the 10 regions. Because this team is going to be addressed. It's going to open our own eyes, our administrators, our policy makers, and nursing hierarchy in your own way, from the CHIP compound to the specialist hospital.
Yeah.
So we are inviting everybody to come and be part of this lunch and this year's celebration. The second point is that we are having the second gentleman of the land himself to be among us. And I believe that since I started being part of the planning committee, I would say that this is the first time we've gotten, last year we brought the chief of staff.
Yes,
and this year is the,
yes.
So next year we are looking forward. So it makes a huge difference. It should excite all of us. It tells us where nursing is traveling to. The level we are now, the recognition being given to us. It also tells us, when you look, like she lined them up, when you look at Mrs. Dr. Reverend Dr. Ayi, a very senior state woman.
Yes.
You know, minister. She's the first woman to be CEO of the
Chamber of Mines.
Yes, Chamber of Mines. A former Council of State.
Yes.
It should give us some
Joy.
Okay.
that we have gotten to a certain level. The other one is also an opportunity for us. When we normally come each year, what we do is the running around the lamp. Maybe she will speak to it, running around the lamp. It's an opportunity to me personally for us to reaffirm the job we are doing is not just it's service to God, service to humanity. And at times we grow weary. At times we get to a point where we want to give up. It's time for us to come together, reconnect, share, encourage each other, and remind ourselves of the pledges that we took, and also rekindle the light that was lighted in 1853.
Wow.
That is still shining through us today. We might not be holding the lamps. We don't hold the lamps because we have electricity. But the light is in our hearts. Anytime we stand by a patient bed, know that from you, you are radiating joy, peace, compassion. And that is what the running around the lamp we look forward every year to. So it's one of the things we are looking forward to also occur this year.
Let me follow up with some concerns that people had. I mean, because you talked about the dignitaries that you have been able to, and I must commend the planning committee. This is no mean feat. To be able to bring these significant government officials to the house,
kudos
it's
to the
huge.
team.
It's huge. But then again, people have concerns. They are like, okay, why are you bringing these people? Is it for political reasons, to score political points? And it's all over our Facebook page. They are part of our problem. Why are you bringing the same people? Let's hear from you.
Maybe let us start.
Okay, Cholo, take us through school.
So, the planning committee, our main job is to plan and organize events. And we sat down carefully as a committee, thought through very well before engaging them to be on the bill. When you look at those coming, I mean the dignitaries, they are the key stakeholders in terms of healthcare.
Exactly.
When we take our vice presidents, when we take our minister of health designates, when we take our DG, the Director General, I mean, they are key stakeholders.
All right.
The government formulates policies.
Good.
And then it is implemented by the Ghana Health Service. And we have our Director General who will be here.
Okay.
So whatever we are going to discuss on that day, we believe that since the formulators of the policies will be here, the implementers of the policies will be here, it will pave way for us, our voices to be heard. Our main motive for inviting them is to let our voice to be heard, so that whatever the keynote speaker is going to talk about on that day, they can take a cue out of it, and then when they are drafting policies, they will consider whatever we said.
So it is more like you are bringing them right into the ring.
Exactly.
And we are going to engage them right away.
Exactly.
So, talking about engagement, there are so many people online who want to share in comments, and there are so many other commercials we want to run because these commercials come in to support the show. We will come back right after here, and thank you so much for sticking around.
Please, my name is Nana Akwasia Samoa. I'm actually the district chair for Section Kumawu Grnma. I'm a beneficiary of the loan scheme. I actually applied for my educational purpose, and then actually it was a time I was in dire need of money. Well, registration for my program was almost due, so I actually applied through the Grnma Infonet app. And within a short time, I got the money, and then I used it to pay for my fees. In fact, Grnma has done a lot, and I'm entreating all nurses to come together so that they can all benefit from all the. It's not only the loan; they have a lot of other packages, disaster, name it, pension benefits. We give a lot, even more than what the applicants are expecting. So I entreat all nurses to come together and come and register under the Grnma to benefit as a Grnma member. Thank you.
My name is Jacob Kwame Abochi. I work at the Bechem Government Hospital, theater to be precise. I heard of this Grnma loan when we were asked to download the Grnma Infonet. So this app makes it easy. When you download, you open, we have the loan sector. So when you want to apply, you just go to the loan sector, then you apply the details they need. You fill in, and then you send it. So as I did, it didn't take me up to 10 minutes. I finished uploading everything and the details they needed. Grnma loan, I would say, is very good because when you apply, there are a lot of benefits you get, because when you apply at the other banks, there are charges like processing fee and others. But if you apply with the Grnma Infonet, you don't have any charge. The amount you apply is what you receive at the end of. So I would advise all colleagues who are in need of the loan to apply to the Grnma Infonet so that all these charges will reduce. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sticking and staying and joining us again for the Nurses Cafe. Abi, you can't address sticking and staying, yeah. But the most interesting thing is, if you were not part of the earlier segment, you missed a lot. But there is a catch here. You can actually go back to the Facebook page of the Ghana Registered Nurse and Midwives Association and pull back the timeline and watch the session again. I learned a lot. The history and perspectives of nursing. Like, I'm back to class again. And it had been made possible by two special guests. Again, Cholo and Kennel. There is order in the house as well as there is teaching in the house. Thank you so much, Grnma Media Committee, for making sure that this show is happening in commemoration of the International Nurses Day. There is a special guest coming, and I am sure that you are hoping to catch a sight and sound of this person. There are so many comments that are on our Facebook page, and I'm going to attempt to read a lot of them. Most of them are about welfare. However, some too had expressed concern about the action-packed activities that's going to happen on the International Nurses Day. Chola was taking us through and recognized the fact that these guests that are coming are significant stakeholders. And I agree. We are bringing them into the boxing ring, and then we do the thing. So, Chola, if you want to do a little summary of that one again and add more flesh to it as you were on. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Kobe. Like I was saying, we have engaged them. We are engaging them because they are the key stakeholders in terms of healthcare in our health systems. When we take the vice president and then the Minister of Health designates, they formulate the policies, like I said. The Ghana Health Service, they implement the policies that are being formulated at the ministry. And we have the Director General who will be gracing the occasion as well. Aside that, the keynote speaker that I talked about is one of our own from the Valley View University. And she is going to speak to the issues of nurses. We should bear in mind that nursing is the backbone of healthcare.
Absolutely.
Yes. So for us to be recognized, they need to invest in us very well. That how can they invest in us? We know that the healthcare system, we have issues with finances. But all that we want from our administrators is we want them to, at least when they give them the money, they should try and invest in us so that we can also move to a higher pedestal. So that is what I want to say, Kobe.
So you have a comment here from one Abigail Abnesiama. She says, "My beautiful Cholo, teach us." And she goes to add that this is a great program by all standards. Thank you, Grnma. And Festus Bookbill says, "Thank you, Mr. Host, for asking that question." Like, it's burning on the lips of everybody.
Wow.
Like, it's like, okay, you're part of our issue, you're part of our problem, but you're coming to our program.
Oh.
But I think it's in order.
It's in order.
Yeah.
To add to what John Law said, there's an opportunity to bring. We have to understand that the job that we are doing does not wear any political color. We know when COVID came and it was whether for the white or the black or whatever.
Exactly.
So we are not bringing politics into the what we want to do on Tuesday, God willing. Our aim is to achieve the fact that, if I want to permit me to use the example of COVID, not to remind us of our pain, but to remind us of our resilience, our commitment, our hard work, how nurses came together and turned, things around in spite of the little resources that we had and the impact that we made during the COVID time. And I want to take this opportunity to salute every nurse and every midwife, the heroes and the heroines of our time. And I believe that their names will be written in gold. It also brought the weaknesses, our challenges to bear in the system. And we believe that when we are well-trained, resourced, good infrastructure, it doesn't matter what we hate. I believe strongly in the Ghanaianness that will stand tall. And that is what we are calling for. The Bible says that even when God calls, he equips.
Exactly.
So if they've called us into nursing, they have to equip us. And we are bringing them here to inform them that maybe when they sit far, they can't hear. Now it's inside.
Come and see
the thing.
Kenel is getting fans all over. Ahmad Dede Jamwe says, "Well done, Kenel. The woman with the history."
Yes.
The woman with the history. And you see, when she's talking, there are two things she doesn't miss. We salute and quote something from the Bible. But we salute her the most for her significant prowess and professionalism. I mean, Kenel is one person that when you meet, she gives you so much to think about and inspires you. I remember many times that she had motivated me to do what I want to give up on. And I personally salute her and acknowledge her for everything you do. Kenel, we are so grateful that you've always been there for us as a mother and sometimes as a friend, and she'll
All
be playing
of
around
that.
with all of us.
Yeah.
Then when you are going off crowd, and he brings you on your
Kobe,
toes small.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
So yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Abigail also comes by say, retired but not tired. Thank you,
Yes.
mommy. God bless you. You are getting so many fans out there. Yes. But there is one particular thing you've been doing, and or we've been doing, and you have been significant about getting it done and done well. The last time you held some rehearsals here, and that had to do with rally round the lamp. This particular sentence is a difficult one. I'm a typical Ashanti, but you can't get me there. Rally round the lamp. What exactly is rallying around the lamp for? And we see some nurses holding lamps and candles and all that. Kennel, take us through some history.
Kobe, thank you. And I will say that I want to once again thank all the former planning committee members. They've been very interested in whatever we've been doing. You may ask me where from this. I believe that when I was made director nursing and midwifery, I got closely associated into the association. Some time ago, the military people were not taking part in nurses celebration, but I got closer to Mrs. Alice Zakwan Alute.
Yeah.
I got closer to Dr. Asante Krobia, and I began to ask myself, Nurses Week celebration, what is it? Like you are asking me, what do we want to achieve? So I sat down and I started reading, started studying, and wanting to find out how it's done in other countries. And then I said, okay, to get the military people to be interested, I think we have to be able to have a week set aside for the military nurses and midwives. So in 2014, we set up a team, and that is when we had our first military Nightingales Week celebration.
Which year was this?
2014.
And that's the first time.
That's the first time I introduced it in the military. I wanted to get them into the association, but I had to start from home for them to buy into it before we can join the larger picture, for them to get the essence of the association. So in 2014, I started reading, what should the format be? So I sat down and as I read, I noticed that in some countries or in some nations, what they do is that on that day, on the 12th of May, they visit their chapel. They have chapels on the hospital compound.
Okay, right.
And they go and they pray, give thanks to God for how far He has brought them into the year, and rededicate their lives and light the candles. They put off the light and they light the candles. So I said, there should be something significant. So I read more. So when I got the concept, I said, no, let me take advantage of it, because in the military we have 3 categories of nurses. We have the civilian nurses, we have the other rank nurses, and we have the officers nursing.
Can you say that again?
I said we have 3.
Okay.
You can be a nurse officer, you can be a nurse soldier, you can be a civilian. Are you getting me? Because of our rank system. So I was also looking for an opportunity where we can have a common ground, where we can relate, connect, put everything aside, and come straight as a nurse or midwife.
Wow.
Irrespective of your rank, whether you are a civilian, you are a military officer, or a soldier. So I looked at the running around the lamp as an opportunity for us to come together as nurses and midwives and share one common platform. Because when somebody is dying, when we are working on the wards, it doesn't know rank, it doesn't know who you are. What it asks for is commitment. What it asks for is hard work. What it asks for is teamwork. So we need to carry that teamwork, and that gave birth to running around the lamp. And I believe that when it came to the national picture, I have been able to connect to so many people. You see so many people coming here and bringing us together, and it's also an opportunity to tell the world. People know nurse as nurse wearing green, that's all. Midwife, green with green belt. They don't even know that we have specialist nurses. They don't even know that we are in the community. We have mental nurses. So when we come from all over, all our specialties, we come around and we come to reaffirm our commitment and the fact that we are still holding on to the pledge. It sells us. It gives our information out. Somebody asked me some time ago, what is an oncology nurse specialist? And I said, oh, it's one of the specialties. So it's an opportunity for us. And I believe that over the years, that solemn ceremony has helped us connect together. Midwives, nurses, specialist nurses, community nurses, mental nurses, to have a common platform where we share our challenges and where we share, rekindle, that is where the thing is, rekindle our lives.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
Kenneth, this is so much loaded information. There is one particular thing that this even fits into. The tagline of the association, unity is strength. Yeah, you push your clap for me. Clap for me. Clap for me.
It's true. Very well.
Cholo, continue.
Oh, I'll give you.
For this one?
We'll give you
8
9
out of 10.
Oh no.
Cholo, I'll give you 9.
You didn't add all. Yes,
one,
because
which one
the
did I
lamp
add?
signifies boldness. It also signifies dedication to duty.
Wow.
It signifies compassion.
Wow.
It also signifies empathy.
Wow.
And then it also signifies love. And the last one is what you made mention of.
The unity.
The unity. So I should have given you 1 out of 10.
Oh no, Cholo.
Yeah.
Cholo, we'll meet your mic.
No. I should have given you 1.
Cholo, I tried.
But you have. You
I
have.
tried.
Yeah.
So what preparation has gone in so far for the rallying round the lamp?
Okay, with the rally round the lamp, we have specialist nurses who are going to take part of the rally round the lamp. We have 8 nurses, a team of 8. They are a team of 8 nurses with 1 leading them who will be carrying the lamp.
Wow.
And then our president will light the lamp on that day. Yes, and all of us as well will light the lamp.
Wow. Guys, Charlie, the team, me, I'll be here.
We'll be expecting you.
So
I'll be
everybody
here.
should come.
Yes. So those who
join us online.
Yes. So
Yes.
those who can be here can also light their lamps, eh?
Yes.
Exactly.
And during the regional celebrations, they can also light their lamps.
Yeah. You didn't clearly mention that. So after the national, what happens?
After the official lunch, the Nurses Week celebration is being carried to all the 10 administrative regions of the association. So it will be celebrated there. And they come out with their programs. It's a week celebration most of the time. And let us take this opportunity to wish them well. And we know it will be very fruitful and very beneficial.
Chola, you wanted to say something?
I want to use this platform to wish all nurses a happy Nurses Day, which is today, isn't it? But we'll be celebrating it on Tuesday. So we wish all nurses a happy International Nurses Day.
You're actually teaching me a lot of things today, but this one I won't take it. So I'll drive the whole thing back. Now this becomes your legacy. This becomes an impact you have made, coupled with all the things you have done. Now, how are we going to measure? How are we going to make sure that we can say that what we have done has made the necessary impact in the lives of nurses? The celebration of this whole International Nurses Day.
I want to, over the years that I've been part of this, I have seen the excitement, the enthusiasm among nurses and midwives on this special day. People at times even call and say, when this year, what is going to happen. And I believe that we have also come to understand the significance of this, of the week, of the day. And I believe that when we understand, it will impact us in the work that we do. So it's not just anything that we are doing, but it's impacting lives positively, the nursing as a profession, and also creating awareness to the public as to what we do and who we are and what we are offering to society.
All right. So, media committee, please, production, please take note. Henceforth, we are going to have the segment, the history section, where Kana will be here to give us the 1950, because when she mentioned some of the data, I was like, where's my research again? So we would have to bring her.
The history book is there.
Yes. I think I brought my history book. The association actually have put together the history of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, and it's so rich. It's on my library. I make reference to it, and we encourage every one of you who is a member, proud member, to get it and then go over it. There are parts of the show that you would want to wait, even if you are done, to catch it, because the aura of the room have changed. Our special guest is in the house.
That's right.
In full glamour and grace.
Yes.
The thing will be so interesting. So we are celebrating Mother's Day and International Nurses Day.
That's a double.
And it's a double.
Yes.
It's a double. You have already wished the nurses. I mean, Kana, do you also have any message to anyone? You want to wish someone special? Mother's Day, International Nurses Day. Me, I've taken my International Nurses Day already. So maybe you want to send some message out to your people anywhere they are in the world.
Let me take this opportunity to wish the leadership of the association, our president, the National Council, and the entire nation, Happy Nurses Day.
Right.
I want to specifically wish those in the chip compounds, those who are crossing rivers, those who are using aboboya, those who are using the lanterns to work, that the Lord will reward them. We wish them a very fruitful day. They have not been forgotten. But I believe that God will reward them. Let me also take opportunity to my military people.
Yes. Ahoya.
Yes, the first military nurse, the first female who took up the challenge, she's passed and gone. And all military nurses who are served, both living and gone, those who have laid down their lives at the battlefield, and all my mentors in the military, people mentored me.
Wow.
And I want to wish all of them Happy Mother's Day and Happy International Nurses Day. May God bless them. All that I want to end is go labor on.
Thank you very much.
Blessed and be blessed.
Put us.
We have a child to keep.
Thank you very much.
We have a generation to set.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget that one. Go.
Ahoya.
Amen. Thank you for having us.
Yes, so thank you very much for those who are. The mention of Aboboya brings to comment, Etiabia of Western Region, and she says, beautiful initiative, beautiful history by Kennel. Yes, and she's watching us from the Western Region. So many wishes to you. Chola, you want to close us in your segment? Your message to anybody? She has said it all. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Enjoy your day.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Please wait. Just hold on. Don't go away.
Good afternoon. My name is Amadou Zakaria. I'm a tutor in Nursing Training College, Laura. I want to seize this opportunity to thank everybody, especially my municipal executive, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, my regional executives, and my national executives for their top wise in securing land for members. I purchased one in my name, 2 plots, at a very easy rate that I can put up my own building at any time I want. So I want to appreciate everybody from the president at the national level, Madam Perpetual Ofori, Ampofo, to the regional executive, to the municipal executive of Wa, Ka Babarka Yakaja. Thank you.
Charlie, the Vim online, the comments and the questions, like I feel we should be doing this every week, But the point is, our constraint, we are constrained, and we are constrained. The show has to be live every week, and we are not getting sponsors and support. You guys, is it fair? So see, there's a crawler on the screen right now. Crawler on the screen. You are putting in sponsorship and support for nurses to come to give you the fact on health issues and welfare issues. You say you support us. Charlie, you guys, if you look inside, look onto the screen. There's a crawler for your sponsorship and support. Call the numbers below. But now, there are some two gentlemen in the house who listen to the whole segment, the first segment, and as we are going to the second segment is a very special part, power-packed, everything, conditions of service, conditions of practice, conditions of leadership, and everything. Charlie, guys, they say you are the agenda team.
No,
So we have just 5 minutes. What did you make of Colonel's presentation, the planning committee so far towards the International Nurses Day?
Thank you, Kobe. And I think Colonel and her team have been exceptional in their planning. And Colonel, as we all know, is an institution and is an asset to the association. I will crave the indulgence of National Executive to interview her to share some history about International Nurses Day so that it will be incorporated in our history book.
Charlie, your advocacy is wild, so already we should do some documentary on.
Yeah, I mean, we should interview because the institutional memory is there. The activity she's led the team to do over the years.
How many years has she been doing this?
I should say about 9 years. Roughly 9 years, because I worked with her closely for 4 years, and this is the 5th year, and she was doing it in the previous administration as well for about 3 or 4 years. So roughly, give or take, we can give about 9 years.
What are your expectations for Tuesday? How does it feel for you?
Well, looking at the personalities that are being featured on the flyer, I'm hoping to hear something good. As a nurse or my colleagues, nurses and midwives who are working in the remote areas, we are hoping that the stakeholders who are coming will take into consideration the economic nature, the work that we do as nurses. Then they will appreciate us in order to tell the story that nurses and midwives are the backbone of our healthcare delivery system that we have in the country. So I'm looking forward to hear something good. Of course, our own president, the Director General, we are being told the Vice President of the land is coming.
That's huge.
Yes.
For me, I'm optimistic, but the comments online says he might not come and all that and things. But I am seriously optimistic.
Oh, very! I can tell you.
Don't say on authority.
Not authority, because I'm just saying it from a hand side. From what we have done over the years, just like what Colonel said. We tried to bring. Last year we brought the chief of staff. So we're building upon it. The next person you look out for is a vice president. Then in the near future you look at the president of the land, and it's possible we are going to get these people coming in to our events.
I think that scares me a little about Madam President. It seems she has some plan, some strategy in place.
I don't know whether she has a blueprint or she knows what she's doing at each time.
Charlie Coleman, you get filler for that side. Do you think Madam President has some plan?
I should think so, because if you look at it, she first invited the advisor of health, or the advisor on health to the president, Dr. Ansia Sari. Then she brought in the chief of staff. Now she's bringing in the vice president, and I must take it from where my brother left. When you are talking about relevant stakeholders in any engagement, you should be looking at people who are within the circles that can grant whatever you are looking out for. So when I read the commentary online, when I hear people talk about bringing the vice president, bringing the minister designate for health, bringing the director general, and they all seem to belong to one political party, and also because it's a political year or election year. But who else can make the decision? I mean, we are in a state where we are fighting to get our nurses employed. We have 2020 badge at home, 2021 at home. For the enrolled nurses certificates, community health nurses, we have 4 badges. 2020, 2021, 22, 23. All these people are home. And these are the people who can employ them. So if you bring them to your home and you tell them that, there is a burnout, at the workplace, because a lot of our people have left, where you have a work that 5 people were doing, now left with 2 or 3 people have to do the same work. And if Director General has the data, he will see that a lot of nurses are breaking down these days. A lot of nurses are taking excuse duty these days because of the stress. We are not having the nurses to work with. So actually the nurse is suffering from kind of triple burden of economic hardship.
Charlie, I think I give you too much time. You want to expand. You want to use everything.
So
wrap up for me quickly.
Yeah. So Madam President bringing in all these people to our home. No, it's a home match.
Charlie, it's a home.
Yeah, it's a home
match.
So we believe we believe Madam President will use the opportunity
exactly
to highlight on all these issues so that we get solution here and here. We are not going to take promises from them.
No, not
we are
at
going
all.
to get solutions here and here.
Yeah.
We want to hear that the following week, our nurses, financial clearance is released for nurses. You know, we want to hear that the following week, the conditions of service negotiation is, wrapped up, and nurses, have to smile.
I can imagine the volume of the Choboy Madam President will give
that
that
day
day.
you can be assured.
The Choboy will be so different.
Yeah.
What apart from that, she's coming here. Like the first time we were having her on Nurses Cafe. In 10 seconds, your expectations from Madam President.
Oh, of course, I'm going to say that Madam President is going to deliver the expectation of nurses and midwives who are watching us live from their homes, at the workplace and everything. And we know that she's going to do justice to the topics or the questions that are going to be asked. And we are hoping that she will give us some form of assurance as she has always been doing. And we want to just let her know that we are proud of her.
Yeah.
And today being Mother's Day, we can't say much. As nurses and midwife, we'll be celebrating her, and we are celebrating her.
Yeah.
And kudos to Madam President, wherever she is.
Charlie, Choboy.
Hey.
Choboy. Hey. Choboy. Hey. Charlie. Guys, so stick and stay. The very special guest for today's program, in commemoration of the International Nurses Day, is right here in her full glamour and glory. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. This is the authority of the Grnma Media Committee, the very media committee she birthed.
Yeah.
And from the committee, we are having the Nurses Cafe happening. And she has submitted herself for questions and your concerns. Where else would you want to be? Stick and stay. Guys, I'll catch you later after her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Harriet Annan. I'm a pediatric nurse at the Adais District Hospital. Adais District Hospital is a referral center where we receive cases from both the Adan East and its environs. I've been here for the past 15 years and it's been challenging, taking care of cases from all across the district, and working here has not been easy at all. Staffing has been a challenge here in the district because most nurses that are posted here had to look for their own accommodation. Getting a place to settle is a challenge. So most of the time when they are transferred here, they find their own way to live. Other things we look at has to be with motivation, because we see that those of us that are being posted here, which is quite far from Accra, we expect that something should be done to people that are posted to the periphery. Another thing we can talk about is logistics. There are things we need to work. So most specialties come here and they don't get the things they need to work. So they end up leaving. Most of our staffs have left the country. Others have taken transfer. So we are loaded with a whole lot of work to do each and every time. We have been able to stay to work because we've put ourselves together. We come together as a team so that we'll be able to give our best of care to our clients that are referred here. Referral is also a challenge to our people here because there are cases we get that we don't have the logistics to take care of them. Getting an ambulance from here to Accra, the charge alone, it's a problem to the people we are referring. So most of the time, clients end up not going for referral. I am a pediatric nurse. I take care of babies. Currently, as I speak, I just sent a baby home, not in my power, but parents says we don't have money to pay for the ambulance. So mother and father has taken the baby that is having intestinal obstruction. They've taken the baby home to die peacefully. Health insurance, they claim it's working, but it's another thing to talk about another time. NHIS isn't paying much. So even with the ambulance, a baby and a pregnant woman has to pay money before ambulance move. The minimum amount a client pay is 700 Ghana cedis. But with the staff, we have decided to come together as a team. We come to work one person at each department. Currently, we have one staff at the female unit, one staff at the male unit, receiving all manner of cases. When you go to the maternity ward, it's the same thing. We have 2 midwives, 1 ward assistant, taking care of over 50 clients, those in labor, those that have delivered, and even the babies as well. They are helping to take care of those babies. And so, with all this happening, when the workload becomes too much, some of our staffs are even breaking down. We have staffs that are not well as I speak now. And so, though others have left outside the country, others are also not well. It's International Nurses Day, and I want to use this opportunity to say Happy International Nurses Day to all nurses across the country. No matter where you find yourself, bring out your best and do the work. Nursing, we say it's a calling. Bring your heart out and work to help the people in the country. Thank you so much.
And there is something that happens when you go for interviews. You say that, today I find myself in the hot seat. Like you, the one coming for interview, you find yourself in the hot seat. But today, the host, me, I find myself in the hottest seat because, like you've been expecting, and I expect you to go and share the link and leave your comment right now. We have the most distinguished first lady of all nurses and midwives in Ghana. The thing there, if we all nurses and midwives in Ghana, there is no other group that exists except for the Ghana Registered and Midwives, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. And our leader, the president of all, is here with us. The show has been running, so there's not much to be talked about. But you might have heard so much bio about her, and that speaks to her work, her professional career, and her leadership. And today, as a mother, she said, well, I used to spend Sundays with family, church, and all that, but I have to be here. Okay, who else is in the seat? Camera, are we ready? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. Guests, special guests is here. Madam Perpetua, can you complete your name for me? Today, dear, you. Hey, you are most welcome, madam.
Thank you, Kobe.
And I'm most grateful that you are here.
I'm also happy to be here. And, you know, I know you've done a marvelous job as Grnma Media Committee. And the way you gave me pressure to be here today, I couldn't have said I wouldn't be here, despite the fact that today is Mother's Day and I wanted to spend time with the family and all of that.
Exactly.
It was equally important that I make time to be here today. So I'm happy and kindly extend my warmest greetings to all those who are online and watching us at this time. And happy Mother's Day to everyone out there.
Now, you heard it yourself, so all the mothers and the potential mothers, responsible mothers, and all of you, you deserve to be celebrated. And Madam President found time to be here, not for any other reason, but just for you, who is having time to also watch us. This show has been brought to you by the Grnma Media Committee, and the Grnma Media Committee appears to be the youngest baby of Madam President, whose initiative saw the creation of the Media Committee. Madam President, let's go straight to action. Why did you even give powers? What came into the process of your planning when you first got the nod? How did Media Committee even come to mind?
To be frank, you know, I served as the General Secretary of the association for 8 years. And during that period, and towards the latter end, I mean 2018, 2019, thereabout, there was a lot of pressure on the administration from the general membership about the fact that they don't hear what is going on, they don't get any information, blah, blah, all sort of things. So as part of my manifesto, I put it in there that there should be, in my view, a media committee that will sell our story as an association and let the world know. I wasn't thinking about Ghana alone. I was thinking global. We can be Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association in Ghana, but the work that we do goes beyond us, because nursing and midwifery is global. And if we are doing anything within the association, our voice should be heard all around the world. So that was my inspiration, and that is what birthed the Grnma Media Committee. I think when we set up the committee initially, members felt that this was a propaganda committee to sell certain information or to put certain information out there. But I think over the years, we've all come to understand and appreciate what it is that the media committee can do. And for me, I'm very proud of the committee and what you've been able to achieve. And that is the more reason why, although we are in a second administration and could have also changed the dynamics of the committee, we said, look, you have all individually attained so much experience in what you do behind the camera. You're sitting here and asking me the questions you're asking me. You say today is a hot seat for you. Don't worry, you'll be fine. And for the pictures you take, the editing you do, the videos and all of that, it takes experience. And for you having built that expertise over time, it was important to maintain you and ensure that you grow in the next 4 years and even beyond. So there's still a lot of things you can do as a media committee. And I'm ready to support the committee in doing all the bigger things. I'm waiting to see you have the online TV. Have the studio where you can run more of these live programs and interviews. And there's so much to be done. So even having a podcast and all of that. So I'm looking up to you and all of you in the committee. Come up with all the ideas and let's execute them.
That's huge. And in your narration, you mentioned about the fact that you were general secretary before becoming president. Now, that means that you were in practice as a nurse or whichever cadre or category before assuming into the leadership activities. Take us through that part of you. We looked everywhere and we didn't see much of that story.
Really?
So did it even exist at all?
Oh, of course it did.
How did it exist?
Nobody becomes a nurse in a vacuum.
Okay.
So way back in 1999, I qualified as a state registered nurse.
Okay.
At the time, this diploma program hadn't started, so I was a state registered nurse. And I was posted to Kolebu Teaching Hospital. They placed me at Kolebu Polyclinic, and that's where I worked. I worked for close to 3 years, and I needed to go to school. I felt I needed to achieve more, so I applied for study leave with pay. I remember at the time the DDNS in charge of the hospital was like, hey, what it is that you are rushing to do? You've just you finished school, you've gotten married, you've given birth, you want to go to school. We don't think we can allow you. Wow. It was a struggle for me, but I was bent on going to do my first degree. So at the time, the segregation of Ghana Health Service and Ministry wasn't there. Okay. It was one service unit. So I had to go and see the human resource, the director in charge. Then it was Dr. Sego. Okay. So I went to see him, talked it over with him, and he said, why not? You're a young woman, you are pursuing your professional career in a way that we expect everybody to do. So we're going to give you the support. So he approved the study leave for me, and despite the hassle that was happening at the time at Kolebu, he told me, just leave everything and go. I went to school, I completed, and came back to report that I was done. Wow. But they said, okay, now you have more academic knowledge, you can teach others. So let us post you to a school to go and teach. And I was placed at the Community Health Nursing School at Grnma. Wow. And that was when I started my career as a nurse educator. So I taught there for 3 years. It was an amazing experience. Those were the times when I had to take my students to the very remotest parts of the central region to practice and to learn. And these were very remote areas. I remember we put the students in a bus, we leave the school at dawn, and we don't come back till 1 a.m. And we take them to places, and the students start crying because we get there at night, there's no light in the area. Lanterns would have to be brought by somebody to come and receive us, and we leave them in the darkness and go. So they are crying, we have to comfort them and all of that. It was a wonderful experience, and it taught me an aspect of nursing that I did not know about. And after a while, because at the time I had also left my family, my husband and my young children in Accra, and the road from Accra to Grnma was very bad at the time. Commuting was very difficult, so it was either I was there, they would come over the weekend, or I also come to Accra for the weekend. After that back and forth, I decided I needed a transfer to Accra. I pursued that, and Sister Iwa of blessed memory granted me that, worked it out for me, and I came to Kolebu NMTC to teach. That was in 2006. At the time, Sister, what's her name? The principal at the time, I've forgotten her name, but I worked under her, and from then till now, I think I've worked under 5 principals, and I'm still at the school. And a lot of students have passed through my hands. It's been like 18 years now. And I meet some of them, and I don't even recognize them, but they go like, oh, sister, you taught me pharmacology. Oh, sister, you taught me gerontology, or you taught me this, or you taught me that. That's one aspect of my life that also brings me a lot of gratification. Wow. So it was at a point along the line, being at Kolebu, that I had the opportunity to go through elections and got the opportunity to serve at Kolebu District as Assistant Secretary. Oh. And interestingly, when we were going for that election, it wasn't easy. I was contesting against one student of mine, and it's no other person than Prince Opuni Frempong. And I remember when we got to the hall to go and vote, he had brought all the students I had taught. He had brought all of them to the hall, and they came to vote against. They voted for Prince. Wow. Yes, and so he had the numbers to become the secretary, and then I was second in place to become the secretary. And at the time, Mrs. Margaret Ohinewa Yeboah was the chair. But we did a wonderful job as a team. We worked together. That was the first time we moved from department to department at Kolebu. We registered all of them. We gave them cards. They were paying their dues at departmental level. a coordinator was collecting, bringing them, and we were able to do a lot of things.
Wow.
So it was a wonderful experience. And I remember those times when we had to do the secretarial work and that kind of thing, then he will go like, oh, but you are the boss, so you work on it. And I'm like, but you are the secretary. So, but you know, it was a beautiful experience, and we worked as a team, and Kolebu grew. And it was also during the time when Mrs. Alice Asari Dakwan Alote identified me. She was amazed that as a nurse educator, then nurse educators were not really interested in the association work and what we were doing. So as a nurse educator and still being interested in the association duties, she felt I could also assist with the women activities within the association. So she signed me on to participate in the Public Services International projects that were ongoing. We're doing migration projects and conducting research in some regions and all of that. So that was one good experience for me. I learned a lot, and it was through that I got the initiative to contest for the General Secretary position.
Oh, so that was another election?
Yes, of course. That was in the election was in 2010. We were sworn in January 2011. So I went through that contest, and I had the opportunity to serve because I was given the opportunity to serve as General Secretary. I did my best. I had to contest again in 2015, and luckily I won, and I served my second term as General Secretary. And then come the big story of 2019.
Do you want me to bring that story?
I know you were there. I don't want you to bring that story. It wasn't easy.
But before you roll onto that part of the film, how did your first election feel for you?
You mean in 2010?
Yes, when you had the contest with Opuni, and Opuni is the current Greater
Accra chairman. Yes.
Okay, good. So how did that election, you here and your students, up in arms, sort of against you, how did it feel like? Because that was your first election.
Yes, it was my first election, and
contest.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I went into it, I wasn't so bent on winning. I didn't know how it was all going to play out.
Okay.
I remember at the time I was doing my PGD, postgraduate diploma in education at UCC.
Okay.
And I told my colleagues that I had to come to Accra because I'm coming for an election. They only wished me all the best, and I just carried my bag, came to Accra, went for the meeting. I thought it was just one of those things. So I was surprised when I got there, and all these students were there, and it looked like a lot of underground work had been done.
You didn't have a campaign team?
Oh, no. I didn't have anything like that. Wow. I just went in. And that was an election where all you needed to do was raise your hand for yes and raise your hand. You count, and that was it. So that was how it happened. But it was, for me, an interesting experience.
Yeah.
And I came to realize, okay, this is how it is done. You needed to do your own mobilization and ensure that you have a strong ground footing if you really wanted to win and be at the top. So that experience built me up through, of course, 2010, 2015 to 2019. Yes.
Now, so it means that for someone who was not really concerned about how to win the election, your focus was how to serve the people.
Oh, of course. My interest has always been the opportunity to serve. And it's interesting, when you have that passion to serve, you also tend to learn a lot. You tend to learn a lot because it means you don't come with the attitude of, oh, I know it all.
Yes.
This is how it has to be done. If it's not this way, then it's not the way I've always been open to ideas about how to work around things and all of that. So it's all been a wonderful experience. And today I sit here as the president of the association. And
what do you think Alice Alote found in you? Reason she spotted you? I am only saying a lot of similarities in character and like vision and all that. But Auntie Alice by then had won the Order of Volta, right?
I should think so. I can't remember the year.
Yes, she had won the Order of Volta, and she couldn't find anyone. But
well, she should be here to answer it herself. But what I knew was that the only thing she told me was that she was impressed that as a nurse educator, I was very much involved in the association work and was going about trying to make a change in the association at that level, at the district level. So she felt I could also bring something on board at the national, and that is how she co-opted me to be helping with the PSI activities and all of that. But I sensed that maybe she might have seen something beyond what she had told me orally, because she's one person who hinted to me for the very first time, just in passing. She didn't really take her time to engage me on it, but she just said, oh, you are doing well. You could even be the General Secretary of the association one day. She just said that in passing. And I remember when the nomination was opened in 2010, and then I called her. She's one person, I must say, I've always looked up to her as a mentor. Yeah. And I called her and said, okay, I hear the nominations are open. I want to do this. She said, why not? Go for it. And of course, you need to campaign, make sure you do what you need to do. Yeah. And I did exactly that. I remember at the time I had to move around the regions, talk to the various regional councils. They would ask me questions, I'll answer. And I couldn't go to all the regions at the time. I went to a few. And it just happened. It happened here. I think the decision to make regional secretary happened during the election day on the Congress grounds. Wow. That's what I think, because that opportunity of speaking to everybody in that 5-minute period when you are given the microphone, tell us why it should be you.
Do you remember what you said?
I can't remember what I said, but I remember the uproar and the applause and all of that. So I think that made a difference. And at the end of the day, they gave me the green light to serve as the General Secretary.
So you won the General Secretary. Was there at any point that you thought about becoming the president?
No.
So when did this whole thing of wanting to be?
I must say, during my first tenure as a General Secretary, it wasn't something that I was looking at. I came to learn that it was the status quo, kind of, that if you become the General Secretary, it's likely you become the president. I wasn't really focused on that. I was just doing my work. But I sensed, based on certain things that were happening at the time, and more importantly, events that took place in 2015, it made me appreciate the fact that, okay, maybe there's something bigger I can do, because now I can sense some stumbling blocks, because in the view of certain people, she shouldn't cross this hurdle, 2015. Otherwise, then it is very likely she can have opportunity. But 2015 also happened as it happened. And I sense that beyond having reached out to the regional councils, the national council, at the Congress grounds, it also made a difference.
So 2015, there was a national Congress. That's what.
Of course, that was at Kolebu. It happened at Kolebu, and they elected me again to be the General Secretary of the association. Wow. I sense that, you see, when you are given the opportunity to serve, just do your bit. Do what you need to do. People will see it and appreciate it. Okay. You don't need to stress yourself too much about, I want this. Yes, it's the focus. You want to do this. But if you become too focused on it, it may curtail you in what you do. You don't do things naturally, and you don't get to do things right. I think it can be at the back of your mind, but stay true to yourself and do your work. Serve the people. and they will see through it all. They will see through it all. I don't want to mention this, but I remember in 2015, one region, all the delegates, they called me. I stood amongst them, and then they asked me some few questions. They asked me like 2 questions. They told me I should tell them the truth if there was anything in relation to what they were going to ask me. And they asked me, and I told them, as far as I'm concerned, this is what I know. And that was it. They said I shouldn't worry, I should go, they will vote for me. And that was it. And I think that region and some other region also made a difference in the 2015 elections. And but that is past and gone.
So let's fast forward.
Let's look at our current.
Now, the current starts from 2019.
Yes.
I know definitely you were going to call Auntie Alice to inform her. Apart from Auntie Alice, who else did you call to tell her about your decision to stand for presidency?
No, not for presidency. Even the time I called it was to do with the general secretary position, not presidency. So for presidency, I remember I took time and spoke to the president. I told him this was my aspiration, and I would want your support. More so, I needed to learn certain things before even that big day, and whether they decide to let me serve as president or not. I talked to him. It was heart to heart. He told me he had heard, and that I shouldn't worry, everything will be all right. And we continued to work. I worked under Dr. Asante Krobia with all my heart. I served. And in 2019, you all know it wasn't an easy...
I know, but
it wasn't
our viewers don't know.
Oh! So
yeah,
it was tough. It was tough in the sense that there was every machination to ensure that I don't win.
Wait, even when you had worked, served, general secretary, local, whatever.
Oh, but it's politics. Kobe, you should understand.
I don't understand.
Oh, you should understand. It's politics. For me, I looked at it all as, yes, it's politics. Let's play along. Let's see how it goes. What I needed to do was build a strong campaign and sell my message. And once, in my view, once the delegates understood the message, they would vote for me. And that was exactly what I did. And I said it was tough because it was tough. You put out information and it's counteracted in a different way, accusing you of this or accusing you of that. The accusations were a lot.
Because you were coming from, excuse me, say, from the old block of administration.
Yes.
And the young ones by then were all coming up. So they are like, okay, you're coming from the old block. What new are you bringing?
New, yes, exactly.
Yes.
So I think what made the change was I put out a manifesto that was very intensive. It covered every aspect of the operations of the association. I had lived it and I knew where the flaws were.
Good.
So putting it up wasn't difficult for me. But today, even when I pick up that manifesto and I read through, I ask myself, so at what point in time did I sit to write all this? And I want to believe in the inspiration of God. And I put it all together, and I didn't want to also put it out in a format where anybody could pick it up and just manipulate it.
Okay.
So I got a graphic designer who designed it beautifully and had it all as a PDF, well designed. So I think that when that came out, it brought some silence in terms of what it is that you can bring along, or what it is you can bring on board. What change are you bringing, or what new thing can you do? You've been here with us for 8 years.
Yeah.
Couldn't you have done this, or couldn't you have done that?
That was the narrative.
Exactly.
I bought into it somehow.
You bought it. That's okay. But of course, they were right in a sense.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is, the structure of the governance of the association is most powers are vested in the president, and you can serve at another level of the executive.
Yes.
You can sit and discuss things, you can do things, you can take decisions, but at the end of the day, it takes the leader, it takes the president to steer the affairs to ensure that you actually achieve the vision that you have set your minds to. So, yes, for me as General Secretary, I would say I did what I had to do. The rest of it was for the president to also ensure he executes what he needed to do. So I understood the perspective of the general membership in that manner of reasoning. But at the end of the day, I really, really appreciate the delegates who came, listened, asked the right questions, and voted. Yes, so now I'm happy for the choice they made and how far they've come with me till date.
Now, it was really a tough day. Let me just paint a picture of the day. It was like someone who is in control but was not in control. Someone who is there but was not there. And it was everything all together, from the night to the next night. I enjoyed the mosquitoes in the night because I stayed up to see all what was happening. There were two camps, one was going in, one was going there, and you see the young folk, you are with the young folks. And at some point I was wondering, were you shaking that you were going to lose? Then I heard you speak when you had that last minute. The choboy, I think that was where the choboy started from. and the noise in the room, you couldn't tell the difference. But when you spoke, I think that was where the difference made for me.
Okay.
And I don't know whether you still remember the words you spoke.
I can't remember.
Do you remember how the energy?
I remember the energy, but I can't remember the words.
How was it like for you?
Oh, it was amazing.
The room was hot.
At the time, Team Pep was in action.
Oh, that's how you call your...
Of course, my team was in action, and they were not ready to lose in any way. And so they had done so much. They had moved with me across the regions. They had done a lot. We had worked. So I remember on the day of election, that morning, I called all of them. We prayed, and I told them, look, we have done all that we can possibly do in our human capacity to win this election.
Including buying of votes?
Which buying of votes?
I'm asking you, tell me.
No. We didn't
You never did?
indulge in any such thing. Okay. It is not right. It wasn't right then, and it wouldn't be right any time within the history of the association. I wouldn't encourage that at all. So we prayed, and I told them, yes, what is left is for God to make a decision. If it has to be me, fine. If not, they should accept the alternative if it should happen. But I know we weren't going to lose. I encouraged them.
Had you prepared your acceptance, defeat speech, as it were?
Was there going to be any defeat speech?
You definitely have to say something to your people.
Of course, on the spur of the moment, I would have put in some words. Even having won, whatever I said came from the heart.
How did you win? What was the numbers?
I can't remember the numbers, but I remember I was sitting in some enclosed space. They call it what? I can't remember, but I was there. I remember that day my sister came to join me, and the members of Team Pep, they will come in and go out, give me information. Oh, we are at this level, we are at that level, and then the counting started.
Yeah.
Then they came to tell me, oh, we are winning. Then at one point, they came to tell me, oh, it looks like as if the power has gone down. And I was like, what are you talking about?
But you came with the previous... on the ground. You had people on the ground.
Oh, of course. I said, you came with the previous... What did you see? And you came to tell me that now you're telling me something else. Go back and check and make sure things are done right. So I think they raised an issue because the person who was doing the count was not showing the votes out before dropping it. Yeah. So they had to start all over again. They realized some of my votes had gone into the other pal. So
you could have lost.
Yes, they recounted everything, and it turned out that I won. And like I keep saying, I'm grateful to the delegates, grateful to the entire...
Sorry, you had 179 and against 111.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have the figures.
Oh, that's good.
Your committee has the figures.
The agenda
boys.
The agenda boys, yes, I know. Adato, Seth, Solo, and Co. They were all there. Yes, I know.
They were there?
Yeah, of course.
You remember those who were on your campaign team?
Of course, I remember everyone.
Okay.
I remember everyone.
All right, great. So, splendid. I mean, the comments that are coming immediately, you started talking about this part of it is incredible. I mean, people said you have made yourself proud. Someone also says you made the association more attractive. You've done beyond expectation. God bless you. And definitely, you know, you have your questions. So we'll reserve some of the questions for that point. And becoming president, what objectives did you have individually? What aspiration did you have? You had a manifesto and all that, but did you have a picture in your mind what you wanted to do?
Of course, whatever I had pictured in my mind for the association, that was what I had put in the manifesto.
Great.
So I remember even before the commissioning of us as the new executive, I encouraged my team members to ensure that whatever manifestos they put out, if they needed to beef it up, they should do it, because we were going to pull it all together to as the starting point of developing the strategic plan for the association. And that is exactly what we did. We worked on it, we shared it with the National Council, and developed it to a point where it became a strategic plan with 6 main thematic areas of leadership and governance, education and training, welfare of members, influencing of policy, communications and campaign, and media committee. That's where you come in, communications and campaigns. And then we had the last but not the least, research. So these are the 6 main thematic areas that has guided us through the first 4 years of our administration, and we are in the next phase of another 4 years. I appreciate every member of the executive committee and what they bring on board, because it's been a wonderful team. We've worked together, and I know we still have some time in this administration. We're going to work to ensure that we deliver on our mandate.
You have been touted with so many names, so many nicknames. Yeah, like I'm now seeing Rambo here again. So I'm wondering, what is your leadership or advocacy style in leading this large group of the association? What actually is your style when it comes to leadership and advocacy when it comes to the welfare of nurses?
So I see, look, I'm a very optimistic person. I never say no to myself, even when there are challenges. So when I set my mind on something, I make sure I deliver. And I can't take on the role as president and go to sleep. No. So every day I am thinking and dreaming about Grnma and how it can become greater than what it is. So if there's something that needs to be done, and it's going to take that individual to help us do it, all I need to do is talk to that person. Let the person appreciate the vision we have and what it can do for us once we have it, and get their buy-in. And most of the time, they accept and would want to work with us. We have done that over the past 4 years. And look at the National Annual Dinner and Awards Night. We have sponsors who have stayed with us for up to 4 years.
Incredible.
And they are still on. They have not hesitated. This year, they are going to sponsor us for our Annual Dinner and Awards Night. We have the media committee. Even at the initial stage when we're setting it up, we needed some mainstream media people to support us. They did. Beyond that, in terms of engaging the other key entities within the nursing and midwifery fraternity, such as the Nursing and Midwifery Council or the Ghana College or our employers, the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, the teaching hospitals, CHAG and the rest. We don't hesitate. We reach out to them, we let them understand our needs, and we encourage them to look at it and work it out for us. There have been times where the Ghana Health Service, for example, have been done with their promotion, but they still look into our requests of certain particular people, or the period of steady leave had gone by, but they still look into what we have put across, because people have worked for years and need to go to school and all of that. So we engage, we use dialogue, but of course that brings us to 2020, and maybe why we had to even use the ultimate tool of having to embark on a strike action.
Exactly.
And it was only because at the negotiation table we felt we were not being given the respect that we were due. We were not being given the listening ear. We had talked about a lot of things, and at that point, when the government team or the employer team said they needed to get mandate, we thought they were going to come back in a week or in 2 weeks or in a month. It took them 3 whole months. And they come back and they tell us, oh, the request or the proposal you've put forward, we are not going to be able to do it all. Then why did it have to take you 3 months? You should have told us in 2 days, in 3 days that you cannot do it. Then we see how we manage the expectation of our membership. And that was how come we embarked on the strike action in 2020. Now we are even still at the negotiation table. We are negotiating the new proposal we put forward. I must say this time is different from 2020. Okay. The government team is willing. They are always on time. They sit, they engage, we negotiate, and we are almost at the tail end. I know some of our members have complained that they are not getting information on the negotiation and all of that. But in truth, when negotiations need to start, we sign rules of engagement. Okay. And ideally, what you are negotiating on is not information that has to be thrown out there.
Oh, okay. So when you're at the table, you are not supposed to...
Exactly. You don't talk about all of these things. At the point when we were preparing the proposal, we engaged with the National Council. The National Councils engaged with the regional councils, the districts, and all of that. So what we put together as a proposal was input from every level. And beyond our own structure, we also involved the other nursing and midwifery associations that are in existence. And we took everybody's view on board and prepared that proposal. So now we are negotiating with the employer. And once we finish negotiating, whatever it is that we get, it will be announced. We will sign it off and everybody will see. But let me say that the inputs that were received from our nursing and midwifery fraternity were all captured. But negotiation is such that you can have the best of proposals, but at the end of the day, the employer will make a determination of what it can actually give you or not give you. We threw a lot of things in there: rent subsidy, a whole lot of things. Wow. And we have taken each item one after the other. We've given justification for it. The employer has made us understand which ones they can provide and which ones they cannot. So we are almost at the tail end of the negotiation. We are hoping that the final issue that is at the Ministry of Finance, they will push it through so that we can sign off the collective agreements. And we are hoping that entering into next week, we should be able to complete this assignment so that we can make the document available to all our structures and they can disseminate the information.
That sounds extremely exciting, but more again is ahead for us. I am having a conversation and my seat has been cooled. with my president, who I'm extremely proud of for the opportunity he has given all of us to be here, by inspiring us and inspiring our women, our women and all other women involved to take up leadership and be who they want to be. Today, it's Madam Perpetua Oforiampofo, the great president of the great association, the only existing association for all nurses and midwives in Ghana, Madam Perpetua Oforiampofo. She's been touching on a lot of things you missed, but you can always get back to watch it on all our socials. There are a few things she's going to talk about. She started talking about welfare issues even before we asked her questions. We want to hear a little about labor and negotiations. She mentioned it, professional development, and collaborations and partnerships. Definitely as a tutor, she would touch on some education and training. We have a few minutes left, but we want to go for a commercial break so that you may have an idea of some of our welfare packages. At the same time, be thinking about how you can support and sponsor this program. We would really appreciate it so that we can make this a much more regular thing for all of you. Thank you very much. Stick and stay. Your comments and your concerns have clearly been identified and we'll read all out.
My name is Simon Monto, the principal enrolled nurse at Ada East District Hospital. I worked here for the past 11 years. In 2017, I sustained a terrible accident that almost took my life. I got diagnosed with spinal cord injury, and I've been put on treatment, went to Kolebu, and at the end of the day, I was informed I will be able to walk again. And I was almost like vegetated at one corner in a room. I'm not able to do anything. Almost everything, someone need to help me do it. And by the grace of God, I wrote to Grnma for support to help me buy a motorable wheelchair that can assist me to move around. And so it was granted, and they gave me 60,000 Ghana cedis. The wheelchair was purchased. That was last year, and I started working last year, June. It has been very helpful. For now, I move around myself. I do everything. It's like I've regained some freedom. And I want to thank the leadership, Madam Perpetua Ampofu and her team for initiating these great ideas that is helping everyone.
I'm Anastasia Kong from Takoradi Government Hospital. I'm in GNT unit. I heard it through my local executives, that's Takoradi Hospital, Grnma local executives. I told them about my condition, and from there, they also took it from there to tell me about the Grnma Health Fund. It didn't take a long time. My local executives helped me write the letter to the regional executives. Then I think from the regional, it went to the national. So I must say they have really helped me. And the time frame that they worked to the to bring me the funds was very short. So I'm encouraging the health workers to write letters to them when they are in health or they are having any health challenges. The funds have really impacted my treatment because it is the funds that I'm using to buy my medications that cost me a lot, and it's the same fund that has also helped me. I use the funds to do some lab investigation, that's MRI, CT scans, and other laboratory investigations. So the funds has really helped my health condition a lot. I thank the local, the STMA, the regional, and the national executive for bringing Grnma health fund to me. At least it has really helped me in my health condition. So I really thank them very much for their effort done on me through my condition.
I'm Baidoso Ajuman. I'm a staff at Pine District Hospital. I heard about Grnma a long time ago. I was a member since 2017. So I had a mild accident and I went to see a doctor, and the doctor told me that I needed a surgery. So that instant I was very sad and didn't know what to do. I contacted, I saw a lot of donations that Grnma has made to other members. And I contacted one of my friends. She is an executive at GOSO. She is a president. She is Catherine Techi. And she discussed the processes I should follow. I also contacted the regional secretary. He is also Clement Sieboni. He also told me the processes I should follow in order.
So they say action light, and then you are caught because you don't even know where exactly you want to start. Because your questions and your comments are so many, and it has to be bordered on welfare issues, no other than welfare issues. We are having a conversation with Madam Perpetua Friampofo, the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. There's only one president of the Nurses Association in Ghana. There's only one association of the Nurses and Midwives group in Ghana, the largest and the backbone of the healthcare industry. However, before we can function, we must be in good shape. But a lot of our members and a lot of our people say they are not in good shape. Key of them, unemployment. How is it that healthcare, which is essential, how is it that healthcare workers who are an essential group of the human resource, we still don't have people who have gone through training and we can't get employment for them? So I know you are not the employer. But
I understand.
What exactly are you doing for the unemployed nurses? So
that is one aspect of the advocacy that we continue to carry on, because we don't hold it within our power to get them employed. Okay. We don't hold the public purse. It is government that has to employ them. As we speak, we know that the 2020 batch, the 2021 batch are at home. And then we have the auxiliary nurses 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, all sitting at home. And the issue is, without the financial clearance that will be issued by the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Health and its agencies cannot employ them. So our advocacy work here has always been with engaging the Ministry of Health and engaging the Ministry of Finance on the importance of having to employ them, and the fact that, considering somebody who completed in 2020, if the person hasn't found himself in a private job, in something that the person is actually practicing the skills he or she acquired, can you imagine employing the person at this time? They've lost, the person would have lost most of the knowledge and skills acquired as far back as 2020 when they qualified. So it's dangerous for the health of the population to even leave our trainees who are licensed to practice to be staying at home, and then get up one day, issue financial clearance and get them employed. Because I say it's dangerous because they would have stayed at home for too long. Our in-service training is not strong enough. The best they can do is take you through some theory or something within a week, and then you are posted to go and work. And it means when you get to the workplace, for you, it's now a learning experience to get to understand, okay, what are the new trends of medications that are given for these kind of conditions? How are things being done? How are drugs being mixed? How are infusions being set? All those things, it means you have to relearn them. Additionally, even continuous professional development by the employer is also not too good. So it's not like you are employed and then by the next 1 month or two, you are going to be given the opportunity to go for CPD training on something and that kind of thing. So it's imperative that government employees, we get to a point where when you finish your internship of 1 year, employment or recruitment should follow. You don't have to stay at home for all these years because, like I said, it's dangerous for all of us. So we understand their plight, the difficulties, but we haven't sat aloof. We are always engaging the Ministry of Health, and to be frank, and the truthful thing is, we've worked so hard to have previous batches from 2017, 2018, 2019, all employed.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So it is an effort that we keep going because we understand the plight that our younger colleagues find themselves in. But it will be important that we get to a point where, look, we are training thousands, churning out auxiliary, diploma, degree nurses every year. Come to think of it, if we need all these nurses, then we should be able to absorb them into our system.
Exactly.
If we don't need all of them, then we must have an alternative strategy. Are we training them to export them? Are we training them for what purpose? Then, of course, the bilateral arrangements that Ghana was able to put in place with Barbados and UK was looking for same and other countries, then we can train for that purpose. In that case, then we have to remodel our training because these high-income earning countries are not interested in auxiliary nurses or even diploma nurses. Their interest is in those with degree nursing and with add-on specialties.
Exactly.
So what stops us from changing the model of our training, converting all the diploma training colleges we have to degree awarding institutions?
You have been very strong.
Because, yes, I've been strong on it because that is the way to go.
Okay.
And if you look at the strategic direction for nurses and midwives, a document developed by the WHO in partnership with International Council of Nurses and the International Confederation of Midwives, it gives a clear path on how nursing and midwifery should progress. And this document was issued in 2021, and it's been reviewed. If you combine that with the State of the World Nursing Report, State of the World Midwifery Report, and other documents that have been produced by the International Council of Nursing, you will see that it is not enough for us to be sitting in Ghana and training auxiliary nurses and then creating a space for them to now come and struggle and attain diploma or first degree. Why don't we change it all? But it's become more of like a political endeavor, and therefore political parties or governments that are in place find it difficult to take that bold decision. Sometimes they pass certain comments like, oh, so a young lady or a young man in my constituency or in my village who has this number of grades, we should get to a point where this person cannot do nursing. But the truth of the matter is, nursing is not meant for those with weak degrees or weak grades. No. Look, the human body is complex.
Yeah.
Looking at the anatomy and physiology and what we learn to put into that body to function properly, to regain its strength, and all of that requires people with high level of critical thinking and abilities to apply what they have learnt and be able to document what it is that they do for purposes of legalities and all of those things, proper management. But this is a situation where we are training thousands of auxiliary nurses, thousands of diploma nurses, and a few degree nurses. Most of those training, even in degree nursing, are from private universities, because the public universities don't train too many. The numbers are not too much. Most of them are from the private universities. So let's change the model, have the entry of training to be degree nursing, and find a system in place where once you complete your first degree, or even as part of the first degree training, your 5th year becomes your specialty year, where you specialize in one specialty area or the other, and you come out as a specialist. Or if we want to expand our Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives, then let's do it. Government should concentrate more on it and give it that kind of expansion it needs, so that if we are running first degree everywhere, there's still room for people to go to the college and do their specialty training. You specialize in critical care, perioperative nursing, or neurology, or oncology, or whatever it is. And then that becomes your field to pursue. So it's one advocacy area that we have kept hammering on, and I'm waiting for the government that will be able to take that bold decision for us to do things and do things right.
Are you optimistic about it?
I know we can do it. We have the capacity. Look, Ghana has a youthful population, and majority, every year, thousands of applications come to our schools. Thousands. A lot are turned away because the infrastructure cannot take on these thousands. But a school that has, let's say, an opportunity to have just about 500 students in, let's say, 3 classes, ends up receiving close to 7,000 applications. So ask yourself, all those other thousands who wish to become nurses or midwives, what becomes of their faith? They may go into the university or polytechnic or the technical universities and do some other program. But if we want to actually tap into the opportunities, the economic power of care, like we've captured in our theme for this year, we will reap the benefits of nursing in terms of the returns that will come into the economy to build us up. Because if you are sending any group of nurses to another country and it's a bilateral arrangement, that receiving country is supposed to pay some money per head of these nurses, and that can be recouped back into the training in terms of development of skills labs, building the capacity of the lecturers, and we can get to the level where Philippines is now. And last year they were able to rig in about $34.8 billion. So once we have the potential, we should be able to explore it and see how we can actually turn things around. In these countries like Canada, Australia, even in the UK, their own citizens are not too interested in pursuing nursing. They are not too interested. And more so with the experiences people had with COVID, all the deaths, and you know, people actually resigned from the nursing profession, all because of the experiences they had with the COVID-19 pandemic. And now people are also not too interested in pursuing the nursing profession. So if we are lucky and we have the youth interested, then we should explore those opportunities and build our country to also benefit from that. The human resource capacity or the nursing and midwifery workforce that we can actually create for ourselves.
It is obvious that you are not against, in quotes, those who are jackpine.
No, I'm not against them. Look, that is one aspect of the economic power of care. Why are we working? on our side as professionals, we are working because we want to improve on our lives. We want better and decent lives. We want a better life for our children, our families, and all of that. And if the remuneration you are getting is not taking you there, nothing stops you from moving abroad. Nothing stops you. It's your right.
Yeah.
And it's important that we continue to partner with organizations like the ICN, PSI, and so on, who continue to fight for migrant nurses and better conditions of service for them abroad, just like the indigents. And the truth is, we can take advantage of the situation and make it for ourselves. When our people leave, it also affects our dues anyway.
Yeah.
But it affects our dues.
Yes.
But we can't hold them down. It is their right. And what is important is that we guide them.
Okay.
It's not all that rosy over there. You shouldn't also be taken advantage of by an agency that will just go and manipulate you or exploit you. You should use the right channels to immigrate and make sure you get properly licensed in the country you are going in to be able to practice as a nurse, as a midwife. Let me tell you, when I traveled to the US in 2004, the idea then, I wanted to go through the process and work as a nurse in the US. And that wasn't the first time that idea had come up, though. Let me tell you, when I completed, by the time I was completing nursing in 1999, I had already started the process for UKCC then, because my uncle was working as a medical doctor, and he was so bent on getting me over. But you see, sometimes when you commit yourself to God, He works in mysterious ways, and you cannot understand. I remember I processed all my documents to a point where there was. Then the office sent me an email and said they had changed office, they had moved their office. So there was this particular document that they needed from me. They can't find my copy on file, so I should just send the original or a duplicate of that. I searched my whole house, I couldn't find that document.
What?
At the time, we were living at Iron City in Kaswa, and I knew where I placed my important documents. I searched everywhere, I couldn't find it. And so that process was curtailed. Years later, I found the document comfortably lying somewhere that I should have seen it years back, but I never saw it. And then, like I'm saying, in 2004, I wanted to, so I wrote the...
So you would have traveled yourself to see greener pasture?
Oh yes, I wrote the CGFNS exams, but at the time, I stayed in the US for just 3 months, and I took opportunity I did some jobs. I worked in a pharmacy shop. I also did living care.
Yeah.
And the day I had to go and write the CGFNS exams, I was amazed. We wrote it on, I think, 42nd Street in New York, and the hall we used was huge. I met a lot of African nurses, and when we finished writing the paper, they were all talking about their stories. Oh, this is my 4th time of writing it. Wow. This is this time of writing it. In the meantime, this is the job I'm doing. I looked at them and I said, I'm not ready to stay. I'm not ready to stay here. I've left my husband and my 2 young kids. I need to go back home. So I prepared and came back home, and I said, okay, when the results come and I've passed, I'll go back. If it comes and I didn't make it, I will probably try and rewrite it or whatever. And that is another story for another day.
Yeah.
But I'm only saying that depending on the level where you find yourself professionally, taking a decision to work abroad is not a bad thing.
Yes.
If you think that that is what will allow you to actually achieve your goals in life, there's nothing wrong with it. If we also as a country want to retain our nurses and midwives, then it's important that we also improve the system.
Yeah.
Let us ensure that there's better remuneration, there are other better conditions of service, and people can be attracted and be retained. We have completed the job or the work on the rural incentive package, and up till now, It hasn't been, we are told it's with cabinet, it hasn't been approved, and I don't know when it can be approved. We have consistently said, some of us work in the urban centers. We have our family around. People are posted to the remotest parts of the country, underprivileged, underserved areas, typical rural, places where you need to cross rivers and go through very rough roads in order to get there. But they dedicate their lives to stay there to take care of those communities. And at least something should be given to them in addition as remuneration.
Yes.
And that is why we have fought for this rural incentive package for a very long time. And I served on the technical committee. I saw the details of the package. And it would have been very wonderful to have that package put out there, because it would have attracted not only nurses, but doctors and other professionals to these areas to work. But I also admit that even the package is not enough. We need a holistic approach, improving our road networks, improving housing, utility services to these areas, and so many things, so that people can actually stay there, not by themselves, but with their families.
Yes.
And these young women are posted there, they lose out.
Yeah.
They lose out on relationships they have built over years, because their men cannot wait for them for their next transfer or their next posting, and it's difficult.
It's painful.
It's difficult. So
It's painful.
we need to improve the system so that people are comfortable wherever they are working.
So that has to do with the conditions of service.
Sure.
Right?
And
Right.
even now, you know, because a lot of our colleagues have also emigrated, and recruitment is not going on, a lot of our nurses are also experiencing burnout in terms of the various units they are working, not only even special units, but even on the wards. On the wards. So you look at the nurse-patient ratios, and it's amazing. You find a 33-bed capacity ward, and even an emergency ward, where you have a 33-bed capacity, and at a time you have only 2 nurses who are on duty for night. How will they take care of all these patients? And what kind of care can they give?
Yeah.
So we as part of even our Ordena, the ICN is running an Ordena project, that is organizational development for nursing organizations, and we signed on as GRNMA. We have almost completed that program, but as part of it, the project we are looking at for Ghana is developing a workload assessment tool, a tool that will allow us to assess the workload of nurses, the various cadres of nurses and midwives. So we have done one for emergency nurses. We will soon be engaging in stakeholder engagement on that tool, and hopefully the Ghana Health Service and the teaching hospital should be able to use this tool and assess the workload of emergency nurses, and for it to inform policy on staffing levels and all of that. So it's a work in progress. When we finish, we'll be tackling other specialized nursing areas as well.
Okay. My other question on welfare has to do with also rotation nurses, and we seems to be constrained with time, so we'll try and do it quickly whilst we go on the questions. Rotation nurses, they've been home. Some have also worked for quite a number of months, not being paid. They are petty allowances. And what is the association? Is the association aware of this? If it's aware, what has been done, or what is it doing?
We are very much aware of it, and it's part of the advocacy work that we've been doing. I always keep telling them, if we had the money to pay them, if we were supposed to pay them, and we had the money, we would have paid them long time. Wow. This payment is not going to come from us, it's going to come from government. So it's also an issue of financial clearance. And we know there's a batch that has actually completed their internship or their rotation and didn't receive even a penny from the period they served. The employer has always been of the view that why don't we accept for them to shift them to the national service? Then they receive the national service allowance just like anybody doing the national service.
Exactly.
But you realize that the level at which our interns are receiving the allowance is a negotiated level.
Okay.
On the single spine. Our predecessors negotiated for it.
Okay.
So why would you want nursing to be pushed to national service when other professionals are doing theirs on the single spine? So we have always been against it, and we have said that the same money that the national service as an agency of the state would have used to pay them, take that, add on, and then pay them, pay our nurses.
Oh, okay.
Because they contribute significantly in terms of patient care when they are doing their rotation and all of that. So it cannot be treated like any other student who has completed a certain program and is doing one national service here or there. So that's, and in addition, even the student allowances that also needs to be paid and are also still not paid. All these are issues that we are following up on, and we hope that they will be addressed soon.
My last but do we say last but one question? Yes. My last but one question before the questions of our viewers has to do with leadership. And the gender on our leadership, especially at national level. Including the cadres or categories, midwives also being part. Like, what efforts have you put in place as a president to ensure that we are having the women also taking leadership roles of the association?
So, interestingly, when you take the whole population of nurses and midwives within the association, we have about 70% being female and about 30% being male.
Okay.
Now, nurses and midwives, you mentioned midwives, that's why I want to address this. Nurses and midwives form the membership of the association, and there's no discrimination as to who can stand for what position at any level.
Okay.
There's no discrimination. When nominations are open, the first criteria is you being a paid up member of the association or you being in good standing as a member of the association. So all you need to do is file your nomination if you are passionate about stepping up and serving. Take up that position and go through the process and get elected. Nothing stops you. If you ask me what I have done, we have, through the Women and Gender Committee, inspired women within the association to take up leadership positions. It is a known fact that at the moment I seem to be I'm the only female at the national level.
Exactly.
And then when you go to the regional level, I think there's one region where there's no female in the regional leadership, but you find them in some regions at the regional level, which is good. I think what we want to see is more of our women also participating in the critical governance levels of our association.
Exactly.
Because when you take the National Council as a governing body, it's only two women, myself and then the secretary of the Bono and Ahafo region. And this is not the best, considering the population of women in the association. But I want to use this opportunity to encourage our women. Look, the excuses are not the best. If you want to give excuses, you always have one. But offer yourself to serve. Once you take that decision and you are married with children, explain it to your spouse, let them understand you need their support. And you just need to reorganize yourself in terms of work and all of that to be able to do what you need to do. So the decision is up to them.
All right.
The decision is up to them.
Okay.
We can only serve as mentors, we can serve as role model, we can serve as people to give them guidance. But the ultimate about picking a nomination form, filling it, and submitting it, it's your individual decision.
All right.
And that is where they have to step up and do what they need to do.
All right. All right. I am certain that this will be one of your legacies when you finish this tenure, about getting more women to step up for it. So now let's get into a lot more. There's so many questions, and I think you've answered quite a number of them, but I will still read it for you because you are very much interested in everybody's concern and question. Isaka Osumani writes, thanks for this opportunity, but I don't know whether our suggestions and appeal matter. If yes, I want to use this platform to let the leadership of GRNM know that we members are solidly behind them in all dealings that will bring about betterment in the life of nurses and midwives in the country. We need better COS, that's the condition of service, and leaders should not let the awards given to them at the May Day celebration be an avenue for the government to use as an influence in the COS negotiation. I know what I'm putting across, as their smartness and deceit are overwhelming. We appeal to leadership to put their members' welfare as a priority in this so-called ongoing COS negotiation. Thank you very much, as we members are waiting and watching patiently for the outcome of the negotiation. That message is from Isaka Usumani. She didn't add where he was writing from. Now, Bilal Eric writes, please, Madam President, your tenure of office is characterized by remarkable achievement, unprecedented in the history of the association. And I'm actually going to ask you to really name all of them for me, Madam President, including all the welfare packages.
Oh, well, I remember.
Yeah. Madam President, there is one thing I personally want you to achieve for nurse and midwife. That is risk allowance. We are so much exposed to a lot of risk, and for all you know scientifically, it's as the result of the risk that nurses and midwives are dying. The conditions of service document expired for more than 2 years, and we are still using the old conditions of service document. What is preventing the association for delaying, or is government that is delaying the process? The fuel allowance, our expectation are that it should not be extended to no. Many thanks, Madam President. Would you want to respond, or I should read?
Oh, you can add one more.
Okay.
And then,
Dominic Atagwat writes, good afternoon, Madam President. Thank you for such opportunity. Our worry is registered community nurses offering top-up for Bachelor of Science in Public Health Nursing. NMC should come clear on the issue of writing licensure exams again, since we haven't diverted our program of study. Would you want to respond to that?
So community health nurses doing what? Public health?
So he writes that registered community nurses offering top-up for Bachelor of Science Public Health Nurses. The NMC should come clear on the issue of writing licensure exams again. I think he's talking about the fact that when you pursue registered community nurse and Bachelor of Science top-up, you are required to write licensure exams again by the NMC. And they want to be clear about that. They want to have clarity in that regard.
Okay.
We have so many questions on the conditions of service. I think you touched on and the fact that we should expect some response by next week.
So,
yeah.
Should I take
Yes,
the
you
ones?
can. Yes.
Okay, so Isaka, thanks for your question. And just to let you know, the conditions of service negotiation is ongoing. And there is no way May Day Awards can change what we need to do. And for your information, the May Day Awards is organized by organized labor. Okay. So if we present awardees, the cost of the awards is borne by the union.
Oh, okay.
It is not borne by the government. No,
okay.
We bear the cost of the awards. So in that sense, we cannot give ourselves awards and be influenced by those awards again. No,
right.
We are on course, and we hope that everything will be all right. Belial said something about risk allowance.
Yes.
If you look at the single spine, the basic salary that you are receiving has the risk component already incorporated. So it becomes very difficult to engage the employer to negotiate on risks allowance again. It is, it has been one proposal that since we began negotiating our conditions of service, we have always tabled, and it has always been no. So we will not relent in our efforts. We'll continue. By the next negotiation, we'll push it again. But the truth is, it is already a factor that was used in calculating the single spine basic salary. So it cannot again stand on its own as a factor to be considered for allowance. That has always been the response of the employer. And that is why it has been difficult to get risk allowance for our nurses and midwives in terms of those that are actually working in units or areas that are putting them at risk, like our mental health nurses, our nurses that are working in contagious units or infectious units, and those that are midwives in terms of the labor wards and what they are dealing with. So it's difficult. It's difficult, but like I said, it's one thing that will continue pushing forward. In response to Dominic's question, the NMC is guided. I'm just saying this, not that I'm speaking for the NMC, but I want to explain what I know. When you are in one profession and you were registered for same, and you move to do another specialty, it's important that you are properly licensed. And if it requires you writing an examination, there's nothing wrong with it. What I know is the NMC has converted the registered community health nursing to public health nursing. And therefore you train as a registered community health nurse, and then you are registered as a public health nurse. So I don't know whether that was what Dominic was referring to, that in that vein you are asked to write the licensing exams. I don't know, but I think the NMC will be better placed in providing answers for these, and we'll follow up on same and see.
All right.
Any
so
more?
we have a question. I think one of them is asking about, and I've heard this many times, why we are not building a hospital for nurses and midwives.
So it is actually if you pick our strategic plan, it is in there. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives 5 years strategic plan. It is in there for us to build a hospital to serve the needs of our members. We are still looking at it. It's still under consideration. We haven't forgotten about it. Just that we need to also ensure that any project that we undertake doesn't bring undue financial burden on us. So just to assure you, it is under consideration, serious consideration at the moment. And at our last executive meeting, we even discussed it. We'll see how we take it up from there.
Okay. All right. So someone is asking about your future and plans for the Nurse Association, but we'll take and some of them are interesting comments. Some said that you have made yourself proud. Some are adding to the fact that you have built the association to an enviable ground. There is one who is asking, Raymond Yabua is asking for their souvenirs for 2024.
And you should receive it. Putting in the order and having it printed for the thousands of our members is quite a hectic task, but we are on it. When it's ready, you will receive it. You will definitely receive it.
All right. So we've been wondering how you managed to be here. We've been wondering how your family have been supporting in all this process, and we thought of why not we celebrate the sacrifice you've been making for us. So the Grnma Media Committee went out to do something small, and this is a representation of everybody's appreciation for your effort.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe one day we'll also do the plaque, the beautiful plaque you've been designing. But for now, there is a little surprise for you.
Okay.
And that goes with the question of how supportive is your family in all your work?
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I hope you're not going anywhere. Come, then we have to. So, indeed, to answer your question, if I didn't have that supportive family, I wouldn't have been able to achieve anything that I've been able to achieve so far. So my husband, my children, my mother, my siblings, I really, really appreciate all that they've been doing for me. For the past 12 years that I've been at the national leadership, it's been my mother, my husband, my siblings. They've helped to take care of my children. And luckily for me now, they are all grown up. They don't need my services too much as they when they were younger. So I have more free time at this moment. But that's my answer for you. It's a support. There's big support that I'm enjoying. And I really appreciate my husband, Mr. Bright Oforian Pofu, and for his understanding and all of that.
Someone said I should ask you, if you walk out of here today, what legacy will you be proud of having left for the association? Madam says she's going to answer that. You have a tall list.
Look, the legacies are going to be many. And I think my interest is that whatever we've started will be continued in the future. When I'm gone, I want to see the association grow to a higher level than where we left it. So let's continue to work hard. I know the media committee, you are doing your best. National executives are doing their best, regional, districts, local coordinators and all of that. Let's all continue to do what we can do to support the association. For some, it's just by a word that you have to chip in to defend the association and can turn things around. It is your participation in a meeting, the idea you bring up, the suggestion you bring up, that can change the fortunes of the association. So let's all get involved and participate and ensure that we continue to grow the association more and more. Awesome. This is a beautiful cake. Yes, it reads what? Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
To Mrs. Hampofu. Hey, my husband will hold you. You did not add the ofori. So I guess we'll go ahead and cut the cake.
Yes, please.
Okay.
The knife. I think she has to be supported. Is there a neck member around?
Yes, they are
neck
here.
Members.
This one,
please,
can we stand and cut it?
Neck members should come around. Yes.
Oh, he's a national council member. Don't worry him. Please come.
Neck members should come around.
Maybe Kobe, you should stand so that the others can also stand.
Yeah.
You won't be seen. Come to the side. Okay. So we cut this cake. Kobe, are you not joining?
Yes, I'm joining.
Yes, come. So we cut this cake in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
International Nurses Day to everyone.
Yes.
We are so proud. Does anybody have any message for Madam Preston?
Yes.
Okay. I have a message. Okay. Cholo is here. Cholo, you should say.
Yes, so... Yes. So on behalf of all district executives and regional executives, we would like to say a happy Mother's Day to you for all the things you do and for all the initiatives you've brought, especially for the districts. We are so proud of you. And it looks as if we've never existed before you came. And by your coming, we are now recognized and we appreciate what you've done and what you continue to do. Thank you. Thank you.
Chola will give us hers.
On behalf of my boss, Colonel Vida Otu, the planning committee, and on behalf of Mr. Opuni, the youth coordinator, we want to wish you a very happy Mother's Day. I want to tell you that we love you. And you are a source of inspiration to all of us. So thank you for being a sweet mom to us.
Let me ask a popular, I think one of the most disruptive events is the International Nurses Day.
Sure.
What is the magic? What magic did you do to put all these guests together? That's a quick one, in like 10 seconds. Did you...
So, look, it's a whole planning thing. So, you should have asked the planning committee.
Yeah, we did. We did.
You did, and they answered you.
There's some blessing that came from you.
So we just thank God they have accepted our invitation to be there, and we hope you are all going to enjoy the day. But of course, today is International Nurses Day, 12th May 2024, and on behalf of the National Executive Committee and the whole association, we wish our members and all the nurses and midwives out there a happy International Nurses Day. Continue to do the good work that you are doing and continue to pray for us. What's that?
Give us that one. Give us that one.
Which one? The Choboy. Choboy!
Give us one more. Give us one more.
Choboy!
Okay, so we are very much grateful, and for everyone that sticked and stayed with us on this show. You have enjoyed the Nurses Cafe, and it's been proudly brought to you by the Grnma Media Committee in commemoration of the International Nurses Day. If you didn't catch up earlier enough, go back, watch, and leave your comments again. We'll be happy to respond to you. We are grateful for everything. Cheers, and we'll catch you up again. We have a cake to enjoy, and Tuesday is International Nurses Day. Make sure you catch up live. Don't miss it. Cheers. Bye.
I'm Harriet Annan. I'm a pediatric nurse at the Adans District Hospital. Adans District Hospital is a referral center where we receive cases from both the Adan East and its environs. I've been here for the past 15 years and it's been challenging, taking care of cases from all across the district, and working here has not been easy at all. Staffing has been a challenge here in the district because most nurses that are posted here had to look for their own accommodation. Getting a place to settle is a challenge. So most of the time when they are transferred here, they find their own way to live. Other things we look at has to be with motivation, because we see that those of us that are being posted here, which is quite far from Accra, we expect that something should be done to people that are posted to the periphery. Another thing we can talk about is logistics. There are things we need to work. So most specialties come here and they don't get the things they need to work. So they end up leaving. Most of our staffs have left the country. Others have taken transfer. So we are loaded with a whole lot of work to do each and every time. We have been able to stay to work because we've put ourselves together. We come together as a team so that we'll be able to give our best of care to our clients that are referred here. Referral is also a challenge to our people here because there are cases we get that we don't have the logistics to take care of them. Getting an ambulance from here to Accra, the charge alone, it's a problem to the people we are referring. So most of the time, clients end up not going for referral. I am a pediatric nurse. I take care of babies. Currently, as I speak, I just sent a baby home, not in my power, but parents says we don't have money to pay for the ambulance. So mother and father has taken the baby that is having intestinal obstruction they've taken the baby home to die peacefully. Health insurance, they claim it's working, but it's another thing to talk about another time. NHIS isn't paying much. So even with the ambulance, a baby and a pregnant woman has to pay money before ambulance move. The minimum amount a client pay is 700 Ghana cedis. But with the staff, we have decided to come together as a team. We come to work one person at each department. Currently, we have one staff at the female unit, one staff at the male unit, receiving all manner of cases. When you go to the maternity ward, it's the same thing. We have 2 midwives, 1 ward assistant, taking care of over 50 clients, those in labor, those that have delivered, and even the babies as well. They are helping to take care of those babies. And so, with all this happening, when the workload becomes too much, some of our staffs are even breaking down. We have staffs that are not well as I speak now. And so, though others have left outside the country, others are also not well. It's International Nurses Day, and I want to use this opportunity to say Happy International Nurses Day to all nurses across the country. No matter where you find yourself, bring out your best and do the work. Nursing, we say it's a calling. Bring your heart out and work to help the people in the country. Thank you so much.